Hi everyone. So today we have an analysis of the Ohio governor race not between an incumbent actually, but between the Democrat Richard Cordray and the Republican Mike DeWine. Incumbent governor John Kasich is term limited and cannot and will not seek re-election for another term. So today we'll be looking at some polling data that we've been getting, including an NBC News poll that has Mike DeWine ahead by 4%. We'll look at the primary results from Politico. We'll also look at the presidential results in the state of Ohio between Donald Trump and Secretary Clinton. We'll also look at the primary results from Ohio to see where that could head us into. We'll look at Trump's approval rating, which has, if I refresh the page, or it might not refresh, but it has been going in quite interesting directions. And we'll also look at Governor John Kasich's approval rating in the state of Ohio. What we will also do is we will look at, if I will find it, the Morning Consult approval rating for Donald Trump in the state of Ohio. So, looking at the polling data that we've been getting from the Ohio governor race between Mike DeWine and Richard Cordray, if we look at this NBC News poll that was done in June, it's very interesting to see Mike DeWine ahead by 4%. Here we see Richard Cordray has 42% to 46%. However, if we look at the poll done for the Senate between Brown and Jim Renacci, it's a 13-point gap. And let's compare that to the average. So if we go to Ohio Senate election, 13%, it has underestimated Democrats a bit because their real average is approximately 15.4%. So I do think that this poll has underestimated Democrats just by a little bit, as we can see from this poll. It's very interesting to say the least for these polls. One done in a very similar time period was this Quinnipiac poll. If it's going to load for me, and it shows but it does show that Mike DeWine has it doesn't seem to be properly loading, but it shows Richard Cordray ahead by 2, and that's pretty good for a Democrat in Ohio. I mean, not the best, definitely not the best, but it's done by a much bigger voting sample and has a much smaller margin of error than the NBC News poll, so just something to note there. So basing this only off the polling data, you probably can't make a characterization, but you would probably tilt it in the favor of the Democrats. But let's look at the primary results from the state of Ohio. So there was 679,000 votes on the Democratic side and 827,000 votes on the Republican side. But these numbers are a little bit skewed because if we look at the 2016 results where Donald Trump won by 9 points, we don't need that, but there was, if I can, oh no, that's the wrong one, this is the one. So there were 2 million votes on the Republican side and 1.2 million votes on the Democratic side. So obviously both party sides are down, but the Republicans are down from 2 million votes all the way down to 827,000 votes. That's a big down by 1.2 million votes. The Democrats are only down by 400,000 votes because 1.2 million. Sorry, I'm doing my maths wrong. This had almost 70,000 voters, so they're down by about 500,000 votes. So not as bad as the GOP. Also, something to note, Donald Trump did win the state, so that is something to note. And if he does go to Ohio and he pushes up this Republican candidate. You could see the primary data. If we're taking a look at the polling data and the primary data, combine it together, you might tilt this in the favor of the Republicans. However, if we look at Trump's approval rating, it's been going down. Right now, it's at 40.1%. That's not really good. If we look at Trump's approval, if it's going to come up, it doesn't seem like it's very enthusiastic to come up. But I can just do that and it might come up, or it might. Okay, it's not coming up. But Trump, as many people know, has a net zero approval in the state of Ohio. So that's not terribly good either. I mean, if we're taking into account Trump's approval in a state he won by 9 points, you might tilt that back in the favor of the Democratic Party. And also, if we look at John Kasich's approval, 51% to 32%. So you might say that this might go more towards a toss-up because of John Kasich. However, Kasich has been distancing himself a little bit from the Republican candidate. I doubt. Anyway, in the end, I'm going to tilt this over towards the Democrat, despite that poll coming out that shows Mike DeWine ahead by 4 points. I'm still putting that in the Democratic column, especially considering that poll was a bit skewed towards the Republicans. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.